Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Another week of Let's Talk Hoops with yours truly. We're going to stay in the Christmas spirit. We got a few more weeks, so we're just going to keep rocking with it. We're going to play a little bit of everything, all kind of stuff. A little TLC. Back to the 90s. So, hey, what's happening? Happy Friday. We back at it again. I appreciate y'all. Hope everybody is having a good week. Had a good week, getting ready for next week, cruising into the holidays. Yep, Dos Equis today. Just a good old cheers, good old Dos Equis. So hey, let's get going. We back here. The league is good. I know I heard a lot of people say they don't like the NBA, and that's fine. I love it. That's why we're here. Kind of quiet right now. Things will probably pick up next week as the trade deadline opens. Not hearing a lot. Probably the only two things that are being talked about a little bit are AD. The Mavs probably looking to move him. I don't know what, they can potentially get for AD. He's been playing well, but that's always been the case, right? If he's healthy, you get a lot. Once he goes down, he goes down. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. I think they're going to refocus, start building around Coop. I think you ride it out. I think you give it this year. See if Kyrie comes back later in the year. See what you got heading into next year. You have Coop on year 2. You got a lot of good talent. This thing is working out with Clay coming off the bench. He'll be a little more established in his relationship, so he may not be falling off as much next year. So I say you ride it out. I don't think you pull the plug on AD, and I don't know if you're going to get a lot back for AD right now. I don't know if he has a lot of trade value. So let's see on that one. The next topic on the trade front is Giannis. So this one is touchy, right? Is Giannis, he's always been a stand-up guy. He hasn't come out and said he's demanding a trade, but he also hasn't said he doesn't want to be traded. All he said is he wants to sit down and talk. And that's fine. He has a right. He's been there for a while. He's been, it's been give and take, right? He got all his brothers on the squad. They've taken care of him. He's been loyal to Milwaukee. So it's been a good relationship. And I think if things were to go a different way, it would be an amicable departure, right? But I want them to pause too, because when I look at their roster, this is not a bad roster. It doesn't have the superstar names, but we see that hasn't always worked out. But he has guys that can hoop. Kevin Porter Jr. is averaging 25 over the month of December. He's coming. I told you it's coming eventually. He's found it. Averaging about 7 assists. We got the kid Ryan Rollins, a gem. He's had his struggles. He's turned it around. You got AJ Green that can shoot. Portis, always solid, right? Gary Trent. They picked up Miles Turner. To me, and we got Kuz. So one of the biggest things, I think if you unlock Kuz could be that number 2 or 3 scoring guy. Kevin Porter might be the number 2 scorer. But you got to unlock Kuz. Somehow you got to figure out, Kuz a 20-point guy. You got to figure out how to get him unlocked and get him going. So Doc Rivers, earn your paycheck. You got enough talent. This is probably one of the more talented rosters you have. I'm just talking about pure basketball players. Now, like I said, they don't have all the fancy names, but those 1 through 9, 8 guys, they can all hoop. And they can give you 20-plus points on any given night. Doc, figure out how to make this work and win some games. You want to earn it now. This might be your biggest test to keep Giannis. Figure out how y'all can make this work, because I feel you got a lot of talent there. So let's see what happens. We'll see. I don't know if there's a big name you can go get to run with Giannis right now. Go get Drew Holiday back. If you want to do something, go get him back. That's probably be, if I was to do anything, that's who I would chase down. I'd figure out how to get him back. Maybe package up something with Portland and get him back. But anyway, so that's that. So another thing that's happening now, so within the new collective bargaining agreement, you have these salary cap tiers. Now, we used to always have, you go over the salary cap, you pay a luxury tax. So now there's a salary cap, then you have the luxury tax threshold, and then you get into what they call these aprons, which are the first and second tier aprons. So for example, and these numbers may not be, but I'm gonna give you an example. If the cap is 155, you can go up to 187. You go over the cap, your luxury tax is different, you can go up to 187. That's the luxury tax threshold. Now you cross the 187, now you're starting to get in between 187 and 195. You're approaching that the first apron. And the first apron is like 185, 195. Then you go into the second apron, which is 208 million. What happens when you get into the range of these aprons and over the luxury tax, over the luxury cap ceiling, you start putting limitations and restrictions on what you can do in a trade scenario. So for example, if you get over the first one, and I believe it's the first one, over the second one, let's say they get stricter, I'll use the second one. Like you'll lose that mid-level exception. So you can't throw that in a trade. You can't add cash in a trade, right? Things that people do, right? When we had these 3, 4, two team trades, you see cash getting tossed in. You see, hey, give me that player with the MLE. You can't do that anymore, all right? So these things change. Like a sign and waive, for example, you can't do that. So as you move further up the salary cap ladder and these tiers, what you're able to do trade-wise is going to restrict you. And I bring this up to say, as we come to this trade period, a lot of teams, like the Suns and the Cavs, are already at the second apron. They can't do much of anything. So we probably won't see a lot of activity. But they are like the Knicks, the Nuggets, the Mavs, and the Rockets. You think about their rosters and the money they have, they're approaching that second tier. They're probably in between luxury tax and the first apron right now. So they're getting to the point, like their trades have to be very salary matched. You don't have a lot of wiggle room, right? So that's what you're looking at. So this result of the collective bargaining agreement and this tier level cap treatment is going to impact the level of trades that we see over the next few weeks. That's why I think you're not hearing a lot. A lot of these teams are capped out, and they don't have the ability to make a lot of moves. So we might not see a lot of movement during trade deadline. But anyway, so just something to think about, to look at. That's probably why we're not hearing a lot. So we're going to go our normal route. We had some decent games last week. Not a lot of high-scoring games. I think the highest we got up to 277, but we're going to hit 300. I think 271. I think the Nuggets got to 277 in a game. A short week of basketball because of the tournament. The Magic and the Heat played a couple times. Magic won, Heat won. The Nuggets and the Hawks, that's what it was, 270, 267. Joker had 39. The Mavs Rockets, the Rockets let one get away from them. You're not supposed to lose to the Mavs. AD had 29. The Rockets were without Şengün, and he's a big part of that team. Lakers knocked off the Sixers. Brian had this has probably been his best game for the season. He had 29. He kind of went for like 10, 15 in a row in the fourth quarter. He did Brian type things. Luka had another 30 piece. The Knicks and the Magic, they played this Knicks Magic Heat love triangle that's going on right now. There's a lot of impacts in the rankings. All three are in my top 5, but they're moving left to right. A lot of movement. I should say top to bottom. Rockets Clippers the other night. So the Clippers, this just show you how bad this franchise is. They couldn't inbound the ball. Now we're talking a team with Kawhi Leonard. You got Zubac. You got Harden. Like, you got a lot of veterans on this team. They were taking the ball out, and the guy standing there, nobody came back to the ball, so he leans forward, accidentally steps over the line. They lose the possession, can't get a possession in to tie up the game, or at least try to attempt to tie the game. This is the type of franchise the Clippers are. This is the stuff that they do, man. It's just ridiculous. Just wow. Warriors knocked off the Cavs. Crazy game. Pat Spencer, first start. If you don't know his story, former lacrosse player. A guy not an All-American lacrosse player, MVP type player. As you can see, a hell of an athlete. Gets his first start. His brother's in the league too. 19 points. The Warriors beat the Cavs without Jimmy, without Draymond, without Steph. 99-94. And I think they were only missing one. Donovan played, Hunter played. The Cavs are in a bad space. I know early on I thought they might do something, but the Cavs are sliding further and further down. If this keeps up at an All-Star game break, they might have a coaching change. Because something is amiss, and I know it's not just, I love Max Strus, but I know it's more than Max. Like, I know he's a big part of that team, but it's something else is going wrong there. So we had some good games. Points for the week, of course, Joe. It's the same guys now. Zach hit 42 this past week. Anthony Edwards had 40 in a loss to the Suns. KD surpassed 31,000 points. So kudos to KD. Joker put up another 40-point game. It wasn't a 40-point triple-double, but another 40-point game, to say the least. We didn't have like 7, 8 games like we did the week before, which was kind of bananas, but that's where we were. Moving on. So the reason we kind of were short this week, we had 2 nights of Emirates Cup playoffs. So the first night in the East, the Magic eliminated the Heat. Told you they played earlier in the week, right? Yeah. So this is the second time. The Magic knocked them out. Bane went for 37, Suggs 20, Banchero's back. The Heat didn't have any production, only 18 points off the bench, but Magic are looking pretty good right now. They're healthy. It all comes down to health. Franz is back. Paolo's back. Bane is playing outstanding. He's been playing great. The second game with the Knicks and Raptors, man, the Knicks are hot. Knicks were on 7 in a row. They beat the Raptors 117 to 101. Brunson 35. Cat had 14 and 16. They took over the game in the first quarter. They held them 13 points in the second quarter, and that was kind of the ball game. The Raptors couldn't bounce back. So that was sort of game. I still like the Raptors, a young team. You got B.I. is probably one of your elder statesmen, but not enough star power. And when I say that, just not enough guys that can just take over the game. In one, which I thought, Spurs knocked off the Lakers without Wemby. Wemby's supposed to come back tonight or tomorrow. 132 to 119. Big thing here. Spurs bench had 48 points. The Lakers had 31 bench points, and all 26 of those were by Marcus Smart, and he's back. Luka had 35. Spurs had 7 guys in double-digit scoring, and I think this is going to be the key to the Spurs going far this year. I think but when it's all said and done, they'll be a top 3 or 4 team. I think I might have them as 5 now, but they play defense. They have balanced scoring, and they have a couple superstars. Spurs will get up there. And then in the fourth quarterfinal, the Thunder beat the Spurs. They blew out the Suns, 138 to 89. This game was over. I don't think SGA played the fourth. He had 28 through 3, and it was 74-51 at the half. So it was kind of over. The Thunder are just, we'll talk about the teams, but the Thunder are just playing at a different level right now, man. It's clicking. They're healthy. Like I said, we're not going to talk about the 72-10 stuff, but eventually we will have to talk about it if they keep up this pace. So what we have in the semifinals now then is Magic versus the Knicks, Spurs versus Thunder, which leads me, I'm going to take the Knicks, Thunder, and still Thunder in championship. So that keeps me close to my prediction. I had the Knicks, but I had the Lakers, Thunder, and I think I had the Heat, Knicks. But at the end of the day, it's still the same. Yeah, I had the Heat, Knicks, Thunder, Lakers as the final 4, and the final 2 were the Knicks, Thunder. So we're still in the ball game. So that's your Emirates Cup. That'll be tonight. They'll play tonight. We'll have it. So we got 2 good games tonight. So that'll be good. So now we'll move on to our top 5. So some of this, we've already started talking about some of these teams. Detroit kind of handled their business this week. And I almost jumped the gun. I don't want to go 1, but we know Detroit is 1. But coming in at number 5 in the East is Toronto. And like I said, Toronto, a good cast of young guys. R.J. Barrett, you got B.I. there. A good group of guys that played solid game, just nothing outstanding. They don't have one superstar, right? A lot of these teams have one superstar. They don't have a superstar. B.I. hasn't crossed that threshold. R.J. Barrett hasn't. Scotty Barnes, close, but they don't have that one go-to superstar. And that's probably the difference between them and when you think about Orlando, the Knicks, Boston, that second-tier teams. That's what's missing. They have a lot of good guys, but not a great guy. So they're 5. And right behind them is Philly and Miami. I think Philly and Miami are coming up pretty close. And Philly's have been on a little bit of a run. Miami lost a couple of close games last week. Number 4 is Orlando. And Orlando is I told you, they're healthy now. So we'll see. They could shock the Knicks tonight. I don't know. They're healthy. They beat the Heat twice last week. Paolo's back. They're getting a lot out of this kid, Anthony Black, coming off the bench. So that's been good production. Franz is back, playing well. I like Orlando, but they play good defense too. Plus 4.5 point differential. So I got Orlando at 4. Number 3 is Boston, and it just, even without Tatum, Boston has kept true to how they play. They're going to shoot the ball, and they're just shooting the ball well. They got great shooters. They practice at it. They don't get to the line a lot, but their 3-point shooting keeps them in the game to help them win games. Jaylen Brown's been playing great. First-team All-NBA player right now. I mean, Jaylen Brown has stepped it up, but he's also, you got to remember, he's a Finals MVP, right? So he's done some great things, and this is what I talk about, the superstar power. They have one, right? They have one. Orlando, you can say they have Banchero. He's a superstar. Or close to, very close to. So Boston, I got Boston at 3. Number 2 is the Knicks. The Knicks won like 4 in a row, including the Cup. They have, which is the best in the East. They play defense, right? They can only get better on defense. Now that Anunoby is back, we need a little bit more minutes out of Mitchell Robinson. But when they get all that clicking, I think the Heat will challenge Detroit when it comes down to it, getting close to it. And that's going to come down to, is Jalen Brunson better than Cade Cunningham? It's going to come down to the superstars and if that matchup happens. But right now, they're 13-1 at home. They have a best 8.6 point differential in the East. That, like I said, that's just in the East. So they're knocking on the door. They're 17-7, 2 games behind the Pistons, who are at number 1. I got them still at number 1. They shouldn't have lost to the Bucks. They lost to the Bucks, but this goes back to my thing with the Bucks. The Bucks have talent. You just have to figure out how you're going to get that talent out these guys on a consistent basis and win some games. You may not be a championship team, but with the East, it's kind of wide open. If you got Giannis, I feel you have a chance to compete. But back to the Pistons. The only weakness I see with the Pistons right now is they don't have enough 3-point shooting. You got Duncan Robinson, but these other guys are not. They're scorers, but they're not really shooters. You might have to find one more shooter to come in and help space the floor. But Detroit's number 1. So that's my East. Detroit, Knicks a close second. Then I think there's a gap between Boston, Orlando, and Toronto. I think they're together, and then I think you have Detroit and the Knicks. Moving on to the West, not a lot of change. I think there will be, but there's not right now. Number 5 is San Antonio. Like I said, Wemby will be back, so I think you may see them start moving very quickly, depending on how Wemby comes back. Because the other guys are gelling. Dylan Harper's back. And the guys have been stepping up and playing well. Fox is playing well. He's leading the team. So I like them moving. They got 8 guys averaging double digits. So then you have coming in at number 4. I moved them. They lost a little from last week. Number 4, the Lakers. They're just so bad on defense, right? Now, this is that's probably the biggest problem. Offensively, juggernaut. They can score. Luka can score. Reeves, Bryant, they can score. Ayton actually playing well. Rui has his moments. They can score, but they're giving up 117 points a game, which is the 5th worst in the Western Conference. So you can't win a championship playing like that. Now, if they make a move, I don't know what move. They've actually talked about AD coming back, but I don't think that's going to work. It could work because he won't be the big guy. He'll play the 4 because you got Ayton now, and that's what he's always wanted. But I think that I don't know. If Luka wants him, maybe. But I think in order to get AD, I don't know what you're going to have to give up. Like, you can't give up Austin Reeves for AD. I'm sorry. I thought I'd never say that, but I ain't giving him up for AD right now. I'm not giving up a package of Austin Reeves, Rui. You might get 2 for 1 for AD. But hopefully they won't do anything crazy. If you go out there, go find somebody. Find you some defensive players. Vanderbilt's not playing at all. I'm not sure what's happening with that. So find some guys that can defend. That's what you need. You don't need scorers. You need guys that can defend. So the Lakers at 4. Number 3 are the Rockets. So the Rockets are second best in the NBA in point differential. And they play defense, though. They have size, pause. They got wings. You got KD, the easy sniper, man. He's scoring at ease. This is probably the easiest he's, how do I want to say that? This is probably the easiest he's been able to score in a long time. Like, it's just, there are other guys around him that can score, so there's no pressure. He just gets his spots, and he's getting buckets. He doesn't have, when they need him, he can take the ball and take over. They lost to the Mavs, like I said. Shouldn't have lost that game. Sagoon was out. They got a tough week. They played Nuggets twice this week, so this is a big test. This is a good test for the Rockets coming in the next week. But I see them, depending on, let's see what happens, because they're 3-2 now. I got the Nuggets at 2. If they knock off the Nuggets twice this week, then they might deserve that number 2 spot. Then we talk about the Nuggets coming in number 2, 4 in a row. My big concern with the Nuggets now is health. It's health now. And what will they look out later in the season? Because Joker is playing a lot of minutes right now. And he's carrying his team. Like, when we start talking about top players and the numbers that he's putting up, man, he's carrying a heavy workload. They really miss Gordon, Bron. I mean, they'll be back. I think Gordon will be back in January. Maybe later this month, early January for sure. But that would be my biggest concern with them, is just their health going forward. Right? Are they a championship team? Yes. Do they have what it takes? Yes. They got 2 superstars, 2 or 3. Can they run with OKC? Not sure. I think they can, just because of the fact you have Jokic, you got some athletes on that team that can get up and down the floor. So they're coming in number 2. Right now, it's been a while since we've seen a team start off as dominant. I think it goes back to that Warriors team that lost in the finals. But OKC, man, it's just, SGA is not playing in a lot of fourth quarters. When we talk about the players, I'm going to talk to you about the minutes. SGA is not playing in the fourth quarter. I think the last 3 games he's had 30 before the fourth, and he sat down. And what's good, why that's important now, because the guys like 8 through 11, they're getting minutes right now. Those minutes are going to be very valuable come playoff time if they have to be called upon. They will know what to do. They will have familiarity with their role and what they've been doing with the starters, and that's going to make a huge difference down the line. So for them to be able to do this now, it's going to be very beneficial in the long run. So right now, OKC is 1, and it's probably not even close. I think their point differential is like 13 or 14. And second is Houston at 10. They're just very dominant right now, man. Something, like I said, we haven't seen in a few years. Now we talk about our players. And give you that recap again. OKC 1, Nuggets 2, Houston 3, Lakers 4, San Antonio 5. But again, we got some games next week that could shift that whole landscape very quickly. I'm going to talk about the top 5 MVP players last. I'm going to go, I know we normally do the rookies. Let's talk to rookies first, man. 2 guys, they're not in my top 5, but they've been in and should be in. Cedric Coward and Derek Queen. Derek Queen had a 33, 10, and 10 triple-double last week. He's just in a bad place down there in New Orleans, man. Him and Fierce actually had 2 great rookies. Cedric's in Memphis, and this could quickly and easily become his team with all the stuff going on with Ja. But Cedric's is averaging 13 and 6. Good rookies, man. This is a pretty solid class. Welcome back. I told you Dylan Harper is back, picking up where he left off. He's averaging about 13 and 3. He had 1 bad game last week. He had 3 points. He shot 1 of 11. It happens. He's a rookie. VJ, he slid down. He came out so strong, but and not anything knocking on him. I think it's just other guys came back. So initially, Embiid was out for a while, so those are shots. Oubre and Quentin Grimes have upped their game, so there are more shots. So his number of shots are going down. He's still productive, 14 and 6. But it's just opportunities and shots. That changes very quickly. But VJ is right there, number 4. Now, Fears, he's taking advantage of his time, man. With all the injuries going on down there and the chaos in New Orleans, he's just getting on the floor. Last week his last 5 games, he had 19, 5, 14, and 2 20-point games. So he's taking advantage of it, 15, 3, and 3. I'd like to see him shoot the 3 better. He doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but he's producing. The next 2 guys, it's going to come down with these 2 for Rookie of the Year. Flag right now is still number 2, even though he's getting better and better every week. Last 4 games, he's averaged, I guess that's averaging about close to 20 a game over the last 4 games, 17, 6, and 3. He's shooting well. The last few games, free throw line wise, he's shot close to 90%, which is up. He was shooting about 80. What he's not doing well, the one thing, and he's the floor general, so you got to give him a lot of credit for that, what he's playing down there in Dallas. I'd like to see him work on that 3-point shot. If there's going to be one area he's going to improve on, is his 3-point shot. And then on the contrary, you got this kid Kneppel, man. He's just letting them fly. He's getting 7 to 8 threes a game, but he's shooting 40%. And really, you think about it, he's getting 7 to 8 more shots. He's probably getting, 3 to 4 more points a game just based on shooting threes. And he's only averaging 1 more point than Cooper Flag. Cooper's all of his is dirty work, getting in the lane, mid-range, etc. And he's also Kneppel's playing 33 minutes a game, man. So he's a big part of what they're doing down there in Charlotte. So I'm a big fan. Like I said, man, I'm a big fan of his, man. I like what he's doing. So again, Kneppel 1, Flag 2, Fierce 3, VJ 4, Dylan Harper 5, and then knocking on the door, you got Cedric Howard and Derek Queen. So good talent, man. A great rookie class. So these guys, not like the last couple of years, man, this rookie class is producing. Like they have, we already know 1, 2, and 3 have produced, right? And we just got to get, what's his name in Utah, Ace Bailey. He's slowly coming along, man. We'll get him there. Ace Bailey's going to be productive, so I don't think he's going to be a bust. So good class. Now, not a lot of change when we move over to the big boys that have been around here in our top 5. Coming in at number 5, again, he's still solid. He had 3 30-point games in a row, man. Shooting over 50%. It's Jaylen Brown, man. Like I said, he figured out the hair thing, and I'm going to leave it alone after this. I ain't going to bring it up again, but he got that all straightened out. That might have been a little bit of distraction early on in the season. And the Celtics are playing well. Like I had him at the 3 seed. Maxi's at 4. He's the 3rd leading scorer in the league, man. And Philly's not far off. They're probably at 6 or 7, I said. So Philly's not far off. He's shooting about 40% from the 3. Oh, excuse me, wrong pipe. But Maxi's playing well, and he's really running. It's his team now, right? Because they're monitoring Embiid. Watch his minutes as he gets down the line. And then number 3 is Luka. Luka is leading the league in scoring. But he's averaging 35, 9, and 9, shooting 47%. But Luka playing 37 minutes a game. There was at one point, he's had quite a few 40-minute games, man. Second most minutes played in his career. And I bring this up to compare him to the next 2 guys, 1 and 2. So my only concern with Luka is, can he maintain this pace? Playing a lot, man. He's had some injuries too in his career. So hopefully he can manage. He's in better shape now. He's eating kale salads and, sushi, that California diet. He might survive the season. Joker's number 2. I know I could easily say he's number 1, but right now I have him at 2. He's 5th in scoring, 1st in rebounding, 1st in assists, shooting 62%. And Denver's 2nd best team in the West. Like I said, you could easily put him number one. But right now for me, it's just kind of hard. The efficiency of SGA right now and how well OKC is playing. He's only playing 30 minutes a game, where I talked about Luka's playing 37, Joker's playing 35. SGA is averaging 32 and 30 minutes, point a minute. Last few games, he's playing less than 30 minutes a game and getting his 30. So they're the guys. So like I said, one, SGA, and it'll be him and Joker, I think, throughout. If the Lakers go on a huge run and jump to a number 2 seed somewhere along the way, you might see Luka slide back up. But right now, I think it's a battle between Joker and SGA, with Luka a close third. And then you got Maxey and Jaylen Brown for right now. So we'll see how it turns out. So, hey, it's another great episode, guys. We're going to get this out. We're going to lock in. We got some games tonight. We got a few over the weekend. And then I think the following week, they'll be out in Vegas for the Emirates Cup Championship. So, hey, as always, God bless. Thank you all for liking and subscribing and joining me. Look forward to next week's show and enjoy the week. Take care.